Dricus du Plessis wants to fight Khamzat Chimaev next instead of Sean Strickland. Dricus had always believed that the winner of Whittaker versus Chimaev would be his next fight, and that idea was cemented even further after Chimaev's dominant performance against Whittaker. In an interview with TMZ Sports, Dricus says the fight with Khamzat excites him, unlike the Strickland fight, who he believes is a boring fighter and that he already beat once before.
Did Khamzat do enough to jump Sean, and does he deserve the next title shot against you?
Yeah, listen, I completely welcome the Strickland rematch. I would have, loved that to, get that finish because, for Sean, he needs a win back. I need a finish. For him, he doesn't mind to fight boring fights like most of his fights. That's why he has, 7 or 8 split decision wins. For me, I go out there and I want to fight a guy that comes out there to throw down, not say that he's going to and then jab for 5 rounds. But once again, in our fight, myself and Sean, it was a close fight, but there was no doubt in my mind that I won that fight. Then of course, I also thought, Khamzat, they've hyped up this guy for so long, but he's not come to fruition. He hasn't lost, but with the fight cancellations, him being sick, and sometimes that's out of our control. But he went in there, was the first guy to ever submit Rob, and he did in the first round. And that warrants a jump the gun on Sean Strickland for me. And if you ask me personally, that's a fight I would rather want because it's a fight that the people want. It's a fight that more fans want. And I believe Khamzat is the next best guy.
Dricus believes that he's stronger than Chimaev, that he wouldn't be bullied and pushed over like Khamzat has been doing to his other opponents.
In a stylistic form, you see Khamzat, he backs people up. I don't back up. And Khamzat being strong. And that's what I said with Whittaker after fighting him. His power wasn't something that I noticed when we fought. But when Khamzat fights, you can see he is strong against his opponents. But then you look at a guy like Gilbert Burns, you look at a guy like Kamaru Usman in a lighter weight division that went out there and they fought him. They didn't defend his wrestling. They wrestled him back. They fought him. And that's, when I fight, I don't know how to back up. I'm going to go out there and fight you. And we've seen this with Khamzat, slowing down after the first round and a half. And I think that is because he uses so much power. He has the wrestling technique, of course, but he uses his strength as a weapon. And in this case, he has a gun and I have a tank when it comes to the strength. There's not a middleweight that's going to overpower me. It's not going to happen. So
Belal Muhammad is rumored to have pulled out of his fight against Shavkat Rakhmonov. Early reports are saying that the UFC is actively looking for a replacement fight for UFC 310 on December 7th. The news just broke, so that's all the information there is for right now. Alexander Volkanovski wants to fight Ilia Topuria early next year in February on the Sydney, Australia card. Volkanovski told Ariel Helwani that he believes this could be his last chance at the title as he's getting older now.
It's going to be tough, to get him over to Sydney. I always knew that. That's why I was saying maybe I'd prefer Max winning just purely for that sense. But at least I know I'm guaranteed next. We'll see where it is. Remember, Madrid or, a stadium or something sounds great. I'd fight in enemy territory. I've fought enemy territories how many times? So it's that'd be huge. Imagine a massive event in Spain. It's just, when is it? Is that later in 2025? And I'm waiting 2 years before I fight. It's, I'm not getting any younger. Everyone knows that. I've got one last crack at this title, and I'm going to put everything into it. So hopefully earlier next year, we can make it happen.
Ilia Topuria did say at his post-fight press conference that he wants to take a break. So another top contender, Diego Lopez, suggests that he and Volkanovski should fight each other for an interim title at the Sydney card in Australia. There was a report tweeted yesterday that Volkanovski versus Lopez was in the works for Sydney, but a different reporter has come out that he contacted Volkanovski's manager, who has denied that rumor. Volk's manager says they have had no discussions with the UFC, but if Volk were to fight in Sydney, Australia, they would want a belt on the line. Volkanovski also seems to be gearing up for a training camp, as he posted to his Instagram today with this quote, "Time to work." Michael Venom Page wants to fight Shara Bullet next. MVP says he wants exciting fights and was very impressed by Shara's double spinning back fist KO over this past weekend. MVP told MMA Fighting that he wants to return in February and is willing to move up to middleweight just to take this fight.
Actually, I just forgot his first name, which is terrible. Magomedov. He just fought the double spinning back knuckle knockout. Then he called out my boy Izzy. Mate, I'm at that weight right now. We don't even have to wait too long. That one there, I'll just take straight away just for the fun of it.
So you'd be willing to go up to 85 to fight him?
Oh, 100. That's what I'm fighting at. That's what I'm grappling at right now. So I'm in shape now, ready to go. So that's a good fight for me, I think. Just to, a nice stand-up fight for everybody, just to come back to the game. And like I said, like leave my boy Izzy alone. He's trying to get back to the belt, to the throne. So I'll take his place. Yeah. I want to go, fire right out the gate. So I'd say February. Give myself a little time. I do want to continue this jiu-jitsu journey, so I think February is a perfect time to give me a nice camp, adding the striking back, then go from there. And then literally, February, I think they're coming to the UK maybe April, and then just back to back.
Shara Bullet's coach has already said that Shara will fight again on February 1st in the Saudi Arabia card. They want Israel Adesanya, but no opponent has been officially confirmed. But Dana did say this past weekend that Shara will be most likely fighting a top 10 opponent next.
Do you think Shara's ready for a top 10 or a top 5 fighter?
I don't know. I think that, again, when we get back into the office next week and we'll start putting all this stuff together, I mean, he looked incredible tonight. He looked good. And he beat a real guy, like a tough guy, and did it in spectacular fashion. So the answer is probably yes.